What's the difference between Russia and Serbia?
Yeah, then it's not much, not a big difference.
Not a big difference that you've discovered so far.
Yeah, then Russia. In Russia, it's kind of like not made for people. Everything is so huge. Streets are huge. You're walking for 10 kilometers without seeing anyone. I don't know. It's just totally like, it's not comfortable to live there.
It's too big, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So on the very same day I released my last video, which was Summer, a Chinese girl who lives in Belgrade. It was getting a great response, and the same day I found this video of Anna, who's a Russian girl who was posting about just moving to Serbia and how excited she was. So I decided to interview her, and I think we had a really nice time talking to each other, and you're going to enjoy this interview. So please welcome Anna.
Belgrade Beat, the pulse of the city.
Hey folks, welcome to Belgrade Beat, and today I've got Anna, who is somebody I just found on YouTube yesterday, who posted a lovely video about her moving to Serbia and the reasons why, and you'd previously spent some time here last summer, right?
A couple of months, yeah.
And I thought this is a really interesting story because you also lived in, if I remember correctly, Germany, Austria, India, Turkey, and Greece.
Yeah, India, a long time travel, yeah.
And also Russia, where you're from.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
what that immediately showed to me is that you're probably looking for a way that you can combine all of these experiences in the world into one country.
Yeah.
Where there's that Mediterranean lifestyle that you found in Turkey and Greece, and there's this really nice sort of organized thing that you found in Germany, and that cultural influence, and then something to satisfy your Slavic soul. Am I right?
Kind people like in India.
Kind people like in India, and then something Slavic, something based on the culture similar to what you were raised
brutal
in.
Slavic faces.
But it's not brutal Slavic here, is it?
For me, yeah, it's
Okay.
more Slavic than somewhere else. In the Western world.
All right. So why did you come to Serbia the first time?
The first time because I'm like partly digital nomad, so I can work from everywhere, somewhere like anywhere else, and I had my holidays in university, so I had semester break, so I could go anywhere else, and I came to Belgrade.
Where were you based at the time?
In Austria, so I'm usually
Which
based
city in Austria?
It's a small city. It's called Dornbirn.
I've heard of it. Yeah. It's in the mountains, like kind of in the west near Switzerland, right?
Border with Switzerland.
Yeah. Okay.
I came here just to work on my projects, and I pretty much liked it, and just lifestyle of Belgrade. I met some people, couple of people, not many, but a couple of them. So also they kind of like showed me Serbia from best side as possible. Like
it's really easy to make friends here, right?
I haven't done that much, so that's why I haven't met many people, because I'm working usually very hard. So, but the people who I met, they were very friendly. Still, like I'm in contact with them.
Yeah.
But now I am focusing on meeting people. Yeah. Now it's
great. Well, just your video popping up yesterday on YouTube because of the algorithms or whatever. I'd imagine soon you'll have lots of people like me inviting you for a coffee, and we'll link to your channel below, and you can make friends real fast. Don't worry.
Hopefully.
So one thing I saw on your channel is a lot of stuff around living in Germany, living in Austria, and that's sort of what you learned about life from living in those countries. And I think this is very relevant to Serbia, because being from like an Austrian background, actually my family's Austrian from Slovakia, but that's the background, that's the language they spoke at home. And growing up in Canada, those are sort of mentalities that are of those places, and you get them when you move to those places, and you sort of progress, and you realize how many bad habits you had before. And I saw your video about what you learned from living in Germany, like bad Russian habits that you, like a couple of different videos you made about this. And I think this is relevant to Serbia, because like with the new digital nomad revolution, as you said, it's not so much of a question as where you live, but it's more about the habits that you have in terms of getting work done online and all that stuff. So tell us about that, how you transformed living in Germany and how you take those habits around the world as a digital nomad now.
there wasn't that much transformation because it's more like about a bit mindset, a bit like mentality. I got a bit more organized, but a little bit not big different. But in Germany, you understand how to work more efficiently, how to be productive, how to be more like analytical, more smart, less emotional. So this way, because we are Slavic people, we're very emotional. We are really like almost like Mediterranean. Like Slavic people are in that way. They are not thinking about their future, not planning, not rationalizing.
More about the family, the social circle, and the
because
collective.
we are a relationship country. Relationship
they call it collectivism, where it's less about the individual, more about the collective.
Like it's not about individual at all. So and
whereas
also,
Germany is super about the individual, super about me being on time, delivering the best quality service to the other person, being the best person, work,
money, work. So these things I learned just. Be more like thinking more with your brain than with your heart, as we do in Russia.
But the problem with I'll tell you the problem with that. Like I grew up in Canada, and after growing up in that society and being that super efficient, successful,
it gets
type
annoying.
Of person,
now it annoys me so much.
It doesn't make you happy in your soul as much as the simple pleasures of being in a place like Belgrade and seeing the people, looking around the cafe, watching the people. I mean, we're in this cafe now, and there's just so much life here. And in Germany, everybody would probably just be quietly going about their business.
They will whisper on the table, and if you're speaking loud, they will look at you like, "Oh my God, you're breaking the rules!" Like, now from here.
Yeah. Like, whereas basically we're sitting here screaming so we can outscream all the other people in this room who are passionately in their Southern European way expressing themselves and enjoying their Monday afternoon.
Still, like you're from Western country, Germany is a Western country with individualism, and I stuck already. It's already too much for me. That's why I wanna go somewhere else. I wanna be here. It's like here, it's not like totally in Russia. Here, people more like in between. That's what I mean.
Let's talk about exactly what I said. Like you've got enough of the Western influence here. That stuff has a function, and there's a history of a certain stability and systems that were implemented by, for example, the Austro-Hungarian Empire, let's say, and other influences, from like Italy, Southern Europe, and standards of food, standards of everything. And what are the main differences you see between Russia and Serbia? Because I think this is a lot of Serbs actually idealize Russia, when I think life here, this would always be a much better country to live in than Russia, in my opinion, for my taste. So tell me about, not to insult your country, but tell me about the differences.
The differences, I think Russians are like, we're a little bit not pragmatic at all. We're like living one day after another. I don't know, we too much like value family and simple things, but we don't value much like career, how we live, we don't strive too much. We are really satisfied with all what we have. We don't want to like Germans working till like I don't know.
But that's similar with Serbia. What's the difference between Russia and Serbia?
Then it's not a big difference.
Not a big difference that you've discovered so far.
No, I mean people are still here, difference in people, but like as a country, Russia has fucked up economy. It's a different
So does
story.
Serbia.
Yeah, but we have like politics are very complicated in Russia, and
so are they in Serbia.
But in Serbia there are no money. Russia is fucking rich, but it's a poor country basically because it's all money are stuck with Putin and Medvedev and etc.
Well, actually, if you look at sheer agricultural riches, Serbia and specifically Vojvodina, north of here, is one of the richest regions in Europe for the sheer amount of food that they can grow.
Food, but we have oil. Food, oil, like money difference. Like no, Russia, it's politically.
Okay, let's not go too much in politics.
I don't want to go neither.
It's too much.
But like, people are different a little bit. But I see many similarities here. That's why I like it here.
And it's still different and new for you.
And it's still better like organized, better like I don't know function. Not better function. I think here things doesn't work the same way like in Russia, many things, but still somehow it's more comfortable to live that way than in Russia. In Russia it's kind of like not made for people. Everything is so huge, streets are huge, you're walking for 10 kilometers without seeing anyone. I don't know, it's just totally like it's not comfortable to live there.
It's too big. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. In that
I always
way.
I used to get afraid of living in Canada because it was so big. You know, the country was too
empty,
big.
Yeah.
Well, no, I grew up and lived in the city center of the biggest city, so there was, yeah, but just like this feeling that you could just drive forever.
Yeah.
Just keep on driving forever and ever and ever.
Yeah, and you
that's
don't
the same in
see
Russia.
you don't see anything, right? Like small village, like that's
Whereas,
scary.
You know, in Serbia, you've got lots of countries that you can drive to within like 3 hours that are all completely different or similar, different flavors, different religions, different languages, and all this stuff, all right here. And so, I mean, this is a really special place. And all of the other influences that have come to Serbia in history, like the Turkish influence, like the Southern Austro-Hungarian Empire influence, and how it manages it to be one place that remains its sort of Orthodox Slavic roots in a society. You know, that's cool.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I have a lot of respect for that, and
yeah, me too. For this patriotism, how they keep their country still kind of like not that much influence.
But at the same time, I feel that it does hold the country back a bit if people get too wrapped up in that. Because the future is definitely the global economy. The future is definitely working online as a digital nomad, at least for me.
Working with different countries, be international, not be that nationalistic. That's what makes
and to preserve the things that are good about your country, like the local food here is amazing. The quality of the ingredients, I mean, and just the friendliness of the people, and to have a local life based on local food and local places like the city, the urbanism, and not like sell out that stuff while at the same time have connections to the global economy. That's the vision that I had when I moved here. Yeah. And it's great to, years later, like, it's been a long time, but just to see that it's possible to live like this, and that more and more people are coming. So as a digital nomad, now you said that a lot of people are gonna want to move to Belgrade. Why do you think that is?
Because it's improving so much. I think since you're here and what I have studied on the internet, it has improved so much, and it's growing. Like digital sphere here, like all this IT industry is growing so fast, and you can hire people here more easily.
The thing about people here is they speak English, right?
And women very well educated.
Like, for example, I was in Belarus, and they have a really amazing IT sector there. I went to meetings with about 20 different companies. But in a lot of cases, the level of English isn't as high and conversational. I mean, they know English, but it's not as conversational as we would need to hire them, for example, to put them on the phone with American customers. But Serbs do speak at that level.
Mm-hmm.
Like you do as well, because you've lived abroad, obviously speaking English with a lot of people, and it's a big part of your life.
And here they just learn it well.
Here they just learn, they just watch the TV with the subtitles in Serbian, and sort of like just know how to speak English in a way that resonates with the American culture that they've seen all their lives on TV. Whereas in Russia you have dubbing, right?
Exactly.
Which is horrible. It's
like
horrible.
Germany as well. That's why we have all this German accent, like. But okay.
Yeah, if you want, I can do a German accent. Yeah, actually, it sounds more Austrian. Yeah, because my family is from Austria. Yeah.
But still not like German. It's like I can hear Austrian and German.
I can hear that the way that you speak English is influenced by talking in English with German people.
A little bit, little bit.
Like it's a mix of a Russian.
Just speaking German, because still it's influenced a little.
So, what would you warn people before? What do you wish you knew before you went to Germany? Because lots of people from Serbia would love the chance to go to Germany.
Yeah, we are fans of Germany, like fans of Germany, fans of Austria, and Switzerland. What to be aware of? I think people there, like Serbs who go to these countries, they want to stuck with Serbs, right? They want to like be around.
They call it gastarbeiter culture.
Yeah, but
that means something different in Serbian than it means in German.
Gastarbeiter,
In Serbian, it has the connotation of somebody who's like a peasant from the village who goes there to live the exact same way that they live here, just making more money or something like that.
They surround themselves with Serbs and like
going to the kafana. And,
go to grab a burek and a pleskavica in some Serb cafe in Austria. This I found funny because I don't see it like for other foreigners. Foreigners. when you go to Germany, you just live around Germans, like because like what the hell I would do surround
So
myself.
you went to Germany, you lived among German people.
Yeah, but Serbs are going to Serbs. They know already. I'm gonna be so. I don't think
That's
they have.
because Serbs are very social people, and I
Yeah,
think
probably that's why.
like I know lots of Serbs in Canada, and the ones who most of them hang out with other Serbs, and even if they are hanging out with only Serbian people, without being surrounded by Serbian people and going to parties with Serbian people, they get depressed.
Yeah, that's a
Very social people.
Can be a problem, yeah. But as far, if I can create these communities, we should be alright.
So what kind of community did you find with the German people?
Just people who surround myself. I don't know if now I'm studying university, my students or
And what are you studying?
international business.
Okay, cool.
Like marketing more.
Marketing more, yeah.
With a major in marketing. Yeah, I'm finishing in this summer, so it's my now internship time
Yeah?
in Serbia. Yeah.
Yeah, so what kind of company are you interning with?
It's a blockchain startup, so
Okay, that
they-
means something, but it doesn't really explain the business model, so...
Yeah, they basically take customers from abroad like you do. They don't work with mostly from abroad.
I
and
like it.
Yeah, it's how you survive here. I mean,
Yeah.
I think, and they create new business models with on a base of Bitcoin blockchain. I don't know much about this, so I'm still learning.
And so what are you going to do for them? Marketing stuff?
Yeah, marketing, and we are
Like
also
digital
working,
marketing, like social media and stuff like that?
Content marketing. And I also want to help them because we are working in a project together, so I can promote Serbia for digital nomads, and so they can get also more employees because they hire now like 40 people or something like that.
Yeah.
So they need people who want to work in Serbia remotely or here, and who are engineers. So yeah, that
Like
way.
software engineers?
Yeah. And also
Definitely look at Belarus, because I know a lot of those people want to get out of there now with the political situation there, and
Yeah.
there's lots of really intelligent people. So
yeah,
who
but
would feel
got
very
also
comfortable.
Russians, yeah.
Yeah, Russians and Belarus and Ukrainians as well, I think.
Yeah.
Like those are the countries where you can move them to Serbia and they can, take the next steps in their career, speaking in English, learning an
Yeah, they
international
only
environment.
need to speak English. Like that's the problem mostly. But they also working with like Digital Serbia, all
Yeah.
these organizations who are basically wanna make Serbia more popular, more like for digital nomads, for expats. So we wanna work on that together, so we can all connect with organization, like create content, and also I wanna make some interviews with people who are already living here and stuff, like just to showcase more country, to showcase these organizations,
Yeah.
Startups. So we work also with the whole like startup scene in Serbia.
Yeah.
We have all connection to that. So I want to dive deep into this, because I see there are really so many cool projects here, cool startups.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, and they are innovative, and also Serbian government try to do this with all benefits for taxes and stuff.
Yeah.
And from 2021, right, already now, we should introduce this resident permit for digital nomads.
Yeah.
Not yet, but
Well,
somehow.
I mean, yeah, the government does lag behind, at least from my perspective, in a lot of these things.
But we try at least. They have ideas.
They have ideas
Yeah.
that they talk about, but they don't, a lot of the time, implement them as well as they could, because I don't know. If you're a digital nomad and you want to come to Serbia to try out living here, don't wait for the government to invite you. Just
Yeah,
come here,
yeah.
get an Airbnb, come to cafes, work here, maybe join a co-working space, I don't know. They're not that popular right now because of the coronavirus situation, but it definitely remains a place where you could actually just come and set up really easily, really plug and play. Great sort of 4G network access on your phone, great Wi-Fi at all the cafes, easy to come around and speak English and just sort of do your thing. But
And you have everything you need. It's so convenient here. I really like how convenient is everything. If you live in the city center, or somewhere not far apart.
yeah, the city center in Belgrade is something very special, and I haven't seen very many environments that I feel have as much of this sort of level of convenience.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
especially like the mix of parks and
Yeah,
urban areas in the
yeah,
city
yeah,
center.
yeah.
Like you have Studentsky Grad right next to Kalemegdan.
Yeah.
Then you go a few blocks over, that's
So many
Tashmaidan.
parks, yeah, like they're everywhere. You can have greenery everywhere.
So you were here, which month were you here last time?
I left in the beginning of September, so I spent July, August, and a little bit of September here.
Okay, well,
it was nice.
how long are you planning on staying this time?
For now, 8 months, and then
Oh.
I will see. Yeah,
Nice.
I will see how it goes with all my projects and
Because
ideas.
the best months for me,
summer, because
No.
like,
May
May?
or June. Sometimes it depends where the weather, because usually in May or June, one of those 2 months will be filled with a bunch of rain every day and stuff like that. But yeah, one of those 2 months is usually absolutely beautiful, perfect 25 degrees and sunny every day, and life just becomes wonderful. And then
Yeah.
September is also one of my favorites because it's also the same sort of 25 degrees and sunny.
Yeah.
And so you're gonna experience some really good stuff. Definitely stay for September because in the summer, let me explain to you that actually last summer, because the border closures, more people stayed in Belgrade, so it was a pretty good summer. But usually people go to Greece or Montenegro for like weeks at a time, and by the time the start of August comes, the city will be almost empty.
That's what. Okay. Yeah, because in summer it's but still like almost nothing worked like at night. In summer it was after 11 p.m. everything was closed.
That was because of the
Yeah.
coronavirus restrictions, and actually I commend Serbia for finding the nice middle ground between having restrictions and keeping it in people's mind that they need to sort of like be aware of this stuff, and still
Not
keeping
partying in the club.
but still
morning,
keeping this
yeah.
sort of lifestyle available to us where we can go out
I'm
in the
so happy now. You can't imagine, like, man, to be here in the cafe. I'm from Turkey. Like, I arrived where
you
everything
came
is
from
shut
Turkey
down.
where they had the weekend
Already
curfew.
2 months. Everything shut down.
Yeah.
All restaurants, all week, all weekends. Like,
Yeah.
literally. You have to
Which
wear
if-
masks everywhere.
And did you see like that happened in November, right?
Yeah.
And you were there before that.
Yeah.
And you know how, like, I was there in September and October. I went to Turkey twice, actually. I went for 5 days to Istanbul in September. And then I went for a 2-week road trip in Turkey in the south. And it was good, like here then. But then in November they started those closures. And
Yeah.
You
But
know-
it was short here, right? Here, like in Serbia.
last
like,
year, I was actually in Thailand at the time, but it was like in April they had those types of closures here. And then by the end of May they had, gotten back to normal, and everything was normal in June. And then there's a couple of other parts of the story which we don't need to go into. But basically, it was good.
I mean, in November here, we also shut down gyms and restaurants, right? And then, but it was so short. Like Turkey, even don't think about opening. Like people just already get used to that.
Yeah, I mean, I was in Mexico for the 2 months where it was normal, like pretty normal. Everything was pretty normal in Mexico, and I was grateful for that. I saw what was happening as soon as I got back to Turkey. It was like November 1st, and I saw the way that the case numbers were going up here, and I was just like. And November was always my least favorite time to be in Serbia. I just hate it when the days are getting shorter and the weather's getting colder. So I went to Mexico for 2 months.
Yeah.
Now I'm back, and I'm actually thinking of going to Egypt. But
I think nothing is better now than Serbia.
yeah, and
Yeah.
on Saturday I was sitting outside on a patio in January, And last weekend, previously, like 8 days ago, I was riding my bike around. It was 14 degrees.
Yeah.
So I might just stay here, or I'll just fly to Egypt for a few days because it's only a 3-hour flight. It's not really as easy as it used to be, but
And he needs to get the COVID test to go back. It's,
both ways I would need to get a test. But back when I was traveling last summer, when I went to Belarus, no test required either way, and when I went to Turkey, no test required.
that's
Either way,
that's
both
good.
times.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is a really good place to be in Serbia. And when you look at what the
Even with COVID, it's
if
better.
if you look at countries like the UK and Canada and the United States right now,
Germany, Austria,
Germany, Austria, Australia,
lockdown. Yeah.
France, basically a lot of places have just decided to follow this policy, which is just limiting freedom.
Yeah.
And I don't think you and I are either in the risk groups of of who's going to get sick and die from this thing. And so, maybe it's better to be in a place like this. And, my heart goes out to anybody who's affected by A, the lockdowns, and B, the virus. But it just I need to live my life. I need to be free. Yeah, I'll be careful. Yeah, I'll limit the way that I interact with others and whatever. But I'm not going to live afraid. So Serbia is a place where I feel like people here have been through a lot worse. So they're not afraid. How was it? When was the last time you were in Russia, actually? Have you been there through the whole thing? What's the attitude there?
No, my family lives there, so they tell me, but nobody cares. We don't even wear masks, although it's required. Nobody cares at all. Everything is open. I don't think even that there was period of time. I think for a couple of weeks they shut down restaurants. In a whole Corona situation, 1 year, it was a couple of weeks we shut down anything. And all this time, everything is working there. Just normal.
Okay.
Just people don't care because, what the hell? Really.
Well,
why should we care
if
so
you're
much?
if you're from a poor country, the last thing you need is a lockdown. And this is what the countries around the world, like Mexico, like Serbia, I'm surprised Turkey is actually able to do this for so long.
Yeah, the Erdogan is ridiculous person. He is ridiculous. Literally, he's just killing people.
Okay, you're not going back there anytime soon.
He's just killing people. People are starving from hunger because we don't have money now. Economy just dead.
All right, you just got
COVID.
yourself banned from Turkey.
No, but really,
I'm joking.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah. And luckily, I don't think the people of this country would stand for that.
Yeah.
If that type of lockdown here again. And that's what they showed in July when they stood up to the government and said, no, you're not going to do this. Mm-hmm. And since then, they found the nice middle ground.
Yeah, I wanted to go to protest together with Serbs, but I was no, I'm a girl, maybe they will kill me or something.
Yeah.
But I was with my heart protesting. No, I was also, because I was here at that time, I was no, please, no, don't do this to us, no.
What do you hope the year is going to bring for you in Belgrade? I mean,
I want to actually stay here for long term. I'm not planning to move somewhere because 8 months is what at least I can do internships, and after I want to have a business.
Yeah, so you can. Do you know the options? Has anyone told you about this? Because I get lots of questions about this. So basically, I can explain it to you, and post the latest video. The easiest way to get status in Belgrade, in Serbia, is to register as a preduzetnik paušalac, which is a self-employed entrepreneur, essentially, with a lump tax sum. So you get a bill, some people, you register for this, then you go, and it's a company that's just you. Mm-hmm. It's preduzetnik, so it's just you working in the company. And then you go and you get a judgment from the tax office, and they, based on the industry that you're in and the area that you register in, you get a judgment of 200 to 400 euros roughly a month that you have to pay. And then you can take up to about 4,000 euros a month into that company from abroad or local companies or whatever. And so it's a flat tax. So up to 4,000 euros a month, 6 million dinars a year actually. And so it's a lump tax sum, and then if you're able to make money online, it's a really good deal. And you get, and then based on opening up that type of company, they very easily give you a visa to stay here first for 6 months, and then you go and renew, and they'll give you 1 year. I'm on my on Wednesday. I have to go and pick up my fifth visa. So it's I've been doing that for 5 years. It's a great system if you want to start out. Someone who's working online. And then you get a bank card and everything's legitimate, and you can travel as a digital nomad and stay registered in Serbia. And as long as you're able to find work for a certain amount of money. There's also another system where if you're making less than, 2,000 euros a month, it might be beneficial to get an accountant and do the full return, and then you'll pay less taxes in the end. But the ease of it's still complicated, but just getting this simple thing, and then you pay the same amount every month to the tax, and that's simplified. I mean, there's still 4 different accounts you have to pay different amounts of dinars into every month, but once you get that, I just log on to my online banking every month and repeat the transaction from last month and go to the tax office once a year or once every few months to say everything okay, and they're like, yeah, and get the new number they have to pay for the new year, and then you keep on doing it, and
that's much better than with account.
Because it simplifies. Because I figure that in Serbia, they need to have this sort of simplified procedure for people to register a business, and they're not going to want to. They don't have the people at the tax office to look into every single small business's account. So it's just like, okay, you pay us, 200 to 400 euros a month, and you'll essentially be good to go. You can literally just, without any accounting, go and take the money out of the bank machine and spend it in cash, however you want.
And basically, if you earn more than 4,000, what then?
Then it's a whole other system. So, it's a whole other system that you need to implement called DOO, which is like a limited company.
Okay, this is
DOO is a limited company in Serbia, and then it's the same thing where you have shareholders, you have a company, you have employees, you have dividends, whatever it is. That might be an option further down the line.
I thought it's only this exists. I haven't researched
No.
about
There's a much simpler one for smaller entrepreneurs here,
much better.
and it's a great place to start. And
Definitely, because I was only looking at LLC, and I was like, a little bit complicated. Account, address, whatever. Because I wanted to already now register, because I have a small business. I wanted to register it now, but I was like, no. I don't want to do that now.
Well, it's very easy to start the process when you want. Just let me know, and I'll help you with that, and where to go and what to do. You might need to leave the country for a couple days or something to come back on a business visa. I don't know. It depends. That's what I heard, but there's ways you can get through this. But it's a great way to get started, and I'm really happy that the Serbian system gave me that way to stay here long term and to live my life as sort of like starting out entrepreneur. And,
So you don't want to form an LLC? You want to stay?
Well, in my particular situation, with my business, I registered it before I registered that Serbian company. I registered a company in the United Kingdom because that's where I was living before here, and I started the company there basically. So so it's based there, and when you're working with Americans and Canadians and stuff, they'd much rather be paying a company in England than a company in Serbia. It sounds kind of like Serbia, kind of dangerous.
Yeah, that's concerned me also, but we will get through that.
I
understand, but it's still possible. Also, it's better. I'm thinking I actually do it in Estonia, and he also do a small stuff.
Okay, so the Estonia, that's a good idea, because you can get the Estonia digital nomad.
LLC,
I did that, but it was after I tried the Estonia e-resident program. But it was after I already had registered the company in England. Almost a year, and I was already going with the English company. And with the Estonian one, you have to actually just you have to have this card with you all the time that you plug into your laptop and authenticate with a bunch of security. And it's really bureaucratic. And then I had this company there that was asking me for every receipt for every expense, and I was already, and everything, being a Canadian was much easier in England, having already registered the company there, based on my ties to there. And it's just it's a different experience. But for you as a Russian citizen, Estonia might be a good way to jump in. It would be easy for you to just sort of get in there and have access to the European market. And you can bank with TransferWise, which is a really good fintech startup, and you can get account details in euros and pounds.
Yeah, I love TransferWise. I'm affiliated with them as well.
It's my favorite way to.
We should basically, I think, switch to Serbia and less to the business about it for our interview.
I think people need to know this. People need to know this stuff when they're thinking of moving to Serbia as a digital nomad. If you do register a limited company in Serbia, it's a lot more bureaucracy than you might be used to in a country like Canada or the US. It's a lot more going around to actual offices and filing paperwork and all that stuff. So
anyway, if somebody want to stay longer than 3 months, they should register here, right? Or when needs to travel for 3 months to come again. It's I will apply now.
It
for
depends what you're doing. it depends what you're doing here. I mean, basically in Serbia, if you want to stay here and you want to make an online business, the option that I just described as like Preduzetnik Paušalac is a great starting entrepreneur business entity that you could register, and it works great. And why not? If you really want to be here, then go through the paperwork and make this your base.
Yeah, but we have to. How we will stay longer then? Because this was a problem for me as well. Like I have to leave because I need stop life.
Actually, for Russian citizens,
it's like 30 days.
Yeah, but you can leave the country and come back the next day.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. I asked about that visa run. Oh my god, the people who do
no, but
that.
Actually.
Because we go.
Well, if you change your mind about that.
There are people living in Serbia like that all their life. I don't know, like people. Why you do that? Just register business. I don't know. Like,
I think they should register too. I felt a lot better when I did. That just you don't have to think of this thing at the back of your head.
I've repeated. Yeah, this is ridiculous. Too much ridiculous. But otherwise, if you have only 90 days, you have to also go like 90 days back and forth. Or
actually, the actual rule of law here now is that Russian citizens can go out and come back one day after 30 days.
Yeah.
But anybody like Canadians, Americans, blah, 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 who require 90 days, they actually have to be out for 3 months after that 90 days.
Oh.
But it's often not enforced by the border police. So it's a gray area, but then you do have stories of people who are getting banned from Serbia.
Yeah.
But you know, it's the Balkans.
But Russian don't get banned.
No.
So
Serbia loves you.
that's why I'm here. Like
it's a good place.
It's only one place where people like Russians. It's from my experience traveling like almost 40 countries.
Have you been to Armenia? That's another country that likes Russians.
But it's like Russia for me. Armenia is for me Russia.
Okay, this is not former Soviet Union. This is was never really part of the Russian Empire.
Still.
But there's a spiritual connection to.
It's like all these surrounding countries. We all of course like Russia because we are all surround Russia. But other countries where you don't
But here's the thing, this might be controversial for you, but I don't think Serbia would love Russia as much if they shared a border with them. Because then they'd have more of a Ukraine-type situation where they would have had,
like
parts
Kosovo,
of the country...
Ukrainian Kosovo.
No, they would have... Obviously, Russian, like Soviet imperialism or whatever you want to call it, would have come and actually made Russian the main language, like they did in Ukraine, and basically destroyed a lot of the traditional culture during the Soviet Union, for example.
Yeah.
And Serbs would be less of a fan of Russian culture. It's because Russia is like over there that they're able to feel this big bond because Serbia plays a similar role to Russia in the Balkans, like Russia did in, for example, Central Asia and the Caucasus, and all that, and the Baltics and all that stuff. Serbia sort of behaves in a similar way to Russia, so there's a spiritual connection between the two countries.
So love and distance.
Exactly. It's like it's very much idealized, whereas the countries that actually did come here and bring their colonial systems, like the Ottoman Empire, like the Habsburgs in the Austro-Hungarian Empire, while Serbia did benefit from those cultural influences and those systems, there was also a cost to the Serbian culture and identity that was brought by, the Germanization, by the Turkish Ottomanization of their culture, by, being forced to adopt these systems and that system. So, it's kind of like, the grass is always greener on the other side, and when they think of Russia, it's like that's a country like us.
That's true. Grass is greener.
The thing for me about Serbia that always makes me so happy to be here is just that there's so much different diversity of influences, cultural influences. With my family being from Bratislava, Slovakia, there's that influence, and there's the Austrian influence that was always there, and my family was from. So it's kind of interesting and mixed, but this is much more mixed and much more historical, much more friendly. You've got like great Italian influence in the food, you've got a great Turkish influence in the, that whole Southern European passion of life. Well, at the same time, at the end of the day, stuff actually functions here reasonably well.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
people here are bad at business. They really need to improve on their practices in business. Showing up on time, doing hard work, not coming up with bullshit excuses why not to move forward. And you learned a lot of that stuff in Germany. But
I think
at the end of the day, there's hope for this place.
Yeah, I think here, for example, in comparison just with Turkey, here things working so much better and people work culture so much better than in Turkey. Like I was also done with Turkish people because like.
Probably as a woman as well, Turkish men are a little bit aggressive.
Yeah, they stare a lot. They just stare. They never approach me, but they stare like strangely. And just Turkish people, they're a little bit like too much relaxed. I don't know. They don't like. Yeah, it's hard to live with them. Like other more like Slavic Western person in Turkey, you can have a really hard time than in Serbia. It works much better.
But do you see like?
I think it's. I don't know. It's just wrote something.
Okay. Well, we got backup video as well, so it's still going as you can see there. Yeah. So, do you see the Turkish influence on Serbian culture?
I think maybe in language and in food they have because food there are many similarities. Also, I think I think language we have many words from Turkish language.
Yeah, but in the way that the people are and the modes of expression. Because definitely, if you ask people from Croatia or Slovenia, they'll say that it's Turkish people Serbian people are more influenced by Turkish. I've heard that many times.
Yeah, but kind of mix. Yeah.
From my perspective, having family from Slovakia and stuff like that. Slovakia is very similar to Serbia, and definitely Vojvodina is very, very, very similar to Slovakia. But once you get down to Belgrade, culturally you feel this Mediterranean, Eastern Mediterranean, Turkish, Greek type of attitude which you don't have in Central Europe. So
yeah, people also here darker. Yeah, a lot of people with dark hair and dark eyes.
It's very controversial. My number one video on YouTube is actually why are Serbian women so beautiful. And in the video, some of them actually said that it's because they're mixed with Turks, and lots of Serbian nationalists resent that. If you look in the comments section, so it's very interesting. A debate on the genetics of Serbian people, but they're also
they're all dark. They're all dark hair.
But I don't really believe that. Yeah, so you fit in perfectly here because you.
But my family from Central Asia.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I'm not. My sister, for example, she's white like hell. She's like Russian.
Okay.
But here people are really like I haven't seen any blonde person. I mean, I don't remember.
I'd say 1 in 20 people are natural blondes here, or something like that. 1 in 20, but lots of blue eyes and green eyes and stuff still. But yeah, darker than, for example, people in more
Slovenia
central,
or Slovakia, right?
Slovenia, Slovakia, Czech Republic, Poland, much blonder countries, Russia, much blonder country.
Yeah.
And it is because of some mix of people that came from, the Mediterranean in general. Whether those people were Turkic or Turkish, it's debatable. But I'd say that the genetic mix in Serbia,
so good actually.
It makes the people strong. It makes them tall. It makes them really healthy people here.
Yeah, but not fat. Like I don't remember if I saw any fat person. I don't know, like
compared to a lot of places, compared to even Germany and stuff.
Yeah.
We're
athletic here. Like when I see people like in the gym, I think they're all athletic. I don't know. Like everybody is athletic. Like
so your family is from Central Asia, and how does that? Okay, how do those roots sort of interact with being grown up in Russia?
Yeah, like my father's side, mother totally Russian, but my family also tall. Like my father is tall. I don't know, like I don't understand much in Central Asia because they're also like Russian mixed with everything. I know Uzbekistan.
A long history of connected cultures. This is
it's such a mess.
I say my family's Austrian or whatever, but it's like, even my Austrian grandmother, she was from a family that was like, aristocratic and nobility, and they were mixed with Hungarians, Czechs, Romanians, everything, because that's how it worked. You go to a country as like a German person 300 years ago, and you live in that society, and eventually you mix with the population, and it's the same thing that happened here. And I don't know, like the language and culture here is not this pure Slavic culture. It's a very interesting mixture with lots of different spices, and that's what makes it such a vibrant place to live.
Yeah, and what makes people like very, I don't know, like alive, I don't know, like, because Russians are too cold, like they are just like, but like here it's mix of everything, also mix of cold, but also they are very alive people, like very passionate.
Yeah, and me personally, I resonated with that because not only is my family this from this very mixed region of Central Europe, you know, Bratislava, where you have like Hungary right there and Austria right there, and that's where my father's family is from. My mother is half Ukrainian, and she has like a darker look, more like your coloring than I look blonde because I was, you know, my father was German and his parents were blonde, but also she's part Scottish and stuff like that. And so if I look at this like my heritage, it's like Ukrainian plus German from Slovakia plus Western European, like sort of Scottish, Irish and stuff like that. And if you look at the history of the city of Belgrade, all those types of people have been here. The Celts started. Did you know that the Celtic people, like Scottish people, started Belgrade?
No.
It was the first settlement was those people actually.
Okay.
Apparently that's historically, and I think this was a long time ago, like BC, like before Christ. And you know, just over history, so many people have come to this beautiful city, and you really feel it when you go to the Kalemegdan Fortress, you know, and you look out on these two rivers, and you can imagine that whoever controlled that region over there, whoever controlled these two rivers, could have influence over this amazing region, which was the best farmland in all of Europe, in some cases, or at least all in the Balkans, the best farmland. And so the culture that's grown in the city is and because of that, Belgrade had the most war of any other city in Europe. And because of that, you just have these people that are so, they've been through so much in history, they've seen so many cultures come and go, and they managed to unify under this idea of Serbian Slavic Orthodox identity, or, you know, previously Yugoslavia identity, and it's something that just works in the spirit of a city that never dies. And that's why even in 2021 now, in this corona crisis, people here have been through a lot worse, so we just keep on living our lives in the city of Belgrade.
Yeah.
So I wish you the best of luck in making your life here in Belgrade.
You don't want to like talk about lifestyle or something like that?
What kind of lifestyle? What do you want to talk about?
I don't know, maybe you can explain or something.
Okay, you ask me questions now.
Yeah, like
Yeah, you good? All right. Yeah. All right.
what do you like about living in Belgrade in particular, about lifestyle and about like how to live with Serbs, you know? What do you like about living with Serbs? How you integrated yourself in a Serbian life? This is a good question.
Well,
that's what I'm thinking about. Or you more like on the side of their life, or you are in society, you know?
I'm in society, and I think that I have this part of me which is actually this very loud, expressive thing, because I don't know. I see a huge difference between my family and the way that people in Austria and Germany live their lives now. We were much more loud, expressive people, but you know, after my family, you know, had to go through the actually Russians coming and having to leave Slovakia because of that, they moved to Canada, and everybody else stayed there. And I ended up with this culture of theirs, which was very much a loud way of expressing yourself. Very, like Germans are very direct, but also mixed with this sort of like Slavic temperament. And when I went to live in Slovakia and to sort of rediscover the roots of my family and stuff like that, when I went to live in Vienna to rediscover the roots that were there as well, I went to both cities, Vienna and Bratislava, and I felt like half of me was like Vienna and half of me was like Bratislava. So I would ride a train between the two cities. It's just 1 hour each day, and I would see like these two sides of me. This sort of very direct and sort of passionate Austrian side, which was, you know, about what do you believe, and then this really sort of like relaxed Slavic, more sensitive but more peasanty, more like relaxed about life Slovak side. And I saw these two. And then I started traveling to this city called Belgrade.
Why you came here first time?
I made friends with Serbian people in Toronto, like when I was living in Canada, and I realized that there was something between me and them. That
I felt like that as well.
yeah, that was like, these people understand me. I can express myself to them.
Yeah.
And so, after traveling, every year since I was like 19, I was traveling in Europe, going to visit my family in Bratislava, visiting Austria, getting to know, more German, getting to know more about the history of the family and all that stuff, more of the European lifestyle. And so I felt like my family was Austrian from Slovakia, so I couldn't find myself in Austria, and I couldn't find myself in Slovakia. And then I came to Belgrade, and it was finally a city where I could, those two aspects are very different, but somehow about the culture here, where people are loud and proud and sort of like passionate about life, and they have their own cultural identity, which, the Slovak people don't really have a strong cultural identity, and the Austrians don't. Yeah, they have a cultural identity, but they kind of forgot a lot of it because the Austrian identity that I was raised with is so much involved in the Austro-Hungarian Empire and the history of all of this, this region of Slovakia, of Romania. And, my grandfather he grew up in Czechoslovakia, even though he was an ethnic German Austrian from Czechoslovakia. He grew up in that world. But here in Serbia, I found people who are interested in talking about history, interested in identity, and accepting of me and my cultural history and how that overlaps with theirs, exchanging ideas, and they actually care about these issues of history and identity that actually change the way that you're living today. That actually
more like thoughts. I felt like Serbs.
More
something more inside, more philosophical mindset, like not a small talk culture.
Well, when you have 50 wars or whatever it is over the last 1,000 years or whatever it is, you have to think a lot more about life because your thoughts of life matter a lot more, like than they would, for example, in a place like England, which hasn't had a revolution in like 1,000 years, right?
Yeah.
So, it's a robust society. There's a good intellectual, philosophical sort of society here where you can expose yourself to a lot of interesting characters, interesting ideas, and live a lifestyle that's got a lot more going on than just work.
It's more sincere than in Western countries. It's more like on the surface. I always felt like I'm like on the surface. I can't be deep with people because we're only like floating around the surface, only small talk, because we don't know how to communicate properly and like have a deep conversation.
Well, in Germany and the West, people tend to be very individual in the way that they talk too much about work, and they, and they don't like to connect to other people as much, and that's one of the things that my life in Canada was missing.
Yeah.
So now I have that here, and I knew as soon as I discovered the city. And I saw, this was in 2008 when I first moved here, I saw that technology like voice over IP, video chat like Skype, and all of these things were going to make it possible that I could work from here in my profession of IT support. And it was basically like, what can I do now with this life? Because I knew that I could, and I lived like between Toronto and Belgrade for 3 years, between 2008 2011, 3 months at a time in each place. And so I was like literally like there. I was throwing parties that were mostly Serbian and Ukrainian and Russian people coming to them because I was trying to make Toronto as fun as here, and a huge scene that grew out of that. And I left this Ukrainian guy, Mark of Lemon Bucket Orchestra. I basically left it him because I basically decided after 3 years of living half in Serbia, half in Canada, that my life in Canada could never be as great as my life here for the pure passion of life. And so I moved here. And since then, I've been leading this sort of digital nomad movement, revolution, whatever you want to call it, so that I could take the economic aspect of my life in Canada and enjoy it here and make my life, take the good things of Canada. Because I knew with the Americanization, the shopping malls, everything, the society here very clearly goes towards the direction of North American stuff. But hopefully it could do that without losing its soul. And I think that through this pandemic, we do kind of find that remains true, that you still have, like, people aren't hiding in their houses right now. they're out and they're enjoying themselves, and they don't lose their soul. They don't lose their traditions. They keep on living while accepting the good things of, like MacBooks over there and like, remote working, but you still have this lively, and it can coexist. It can all coexist in a city like Belgrade because it has this history of coexisting with, one thing and the other, and like what the combination of different lifestyles, the combination of Turkish and Austrian lifestyles, the combination of Mediterranean, Central European, being Slavic, and then also accepting other cultures and words into your language and stuff from other places. So this is one of the best places in the world to be, especially this year. And that's pretty much it. Anything else you wanted to know about my lifestyle here?
So you have like enough Serbian friends, like, or you more with the expat community?
I'm about 50-50.
50-50.
Yeah, so it's like after I moved from London, I started working with only musicians from here, basically. And so the guys in my band became Serbian, and they didn't become Serbian. I found Serbian people for my band after the people that I was working with in London and Toronto were no longer in the project. Except for one producer of mine, he's from the Netherlands, married a Serbian woman here. And yeah, so that's my Serbian band. And, it's completely like Serbian in vibe, and I don't really see a barrier, like Serbian or not Serbian people, because like you interact with people in Belgrade. It doesn't matter if you're a foreigner. They don't really, like when you have a friend, they're a friend. It's not like in some places where you go and you'll always be an outsider. Like I would imagine like Germany would be somehow. And like you're always not going to be German, and even if you speak the language, you'll never be one of them. But here in Serbia, yes, I will never be Serbian, but I speak in Serbian. Most of my friends I speak in English with because it's just easier for both of us. But when I go in the shops and when I go in the tax office, when I go into all these places, I do speak Serbian, and I understand the mentality enough. But the thing is, people here are open, and they don't really... It's like when you have the right social circle here, it doesn't matter who's a Serb, who's a foreigner. And I think you want to have both constantly surrounding you. And that's gonna, over the long term, Belgrade will become a much more international city with lots of different people coming here and feeling at home just because the people here are so real. And it's not like, for example, if I were to live in Mexico, I'd always be a gringo.
In Asia you will never be local.
In Thailand, for example, another country I spend a lot of time in Thailand is like, it's like you'll always be a Farang. But here it's like, the word stranac is what they say, like stranci, like foreigners. It's like, stranci are like, you can be a stranci from Slovenia, stranci from, Russia.
Russians more like even less stranci for them. I think we almost like Serbs, I think, or something. No?
Yeah, well, you'll see. Yeah. I think you'll find out. Like, but definitely, a lot of people are gonna be wanting to get to know you. So look forward to a very healthy social life very soon. When did you arrive? How long you been here so far?
I arrived on first day, so like 3 days.
And you and you post a video on the internet, and somehow the algorithms of YouTube put it in front of me on a Sunday, and I write you, and you immediately are like, yeah, let's meet, and then now we're meeting. So great to meet you. I think 1 hour should be a good time to finish this video, but I didn't expect it would be that long. But the good thing about this format is we can just keep on talking.
Yeah,
maybe we'll have you back on some other time on the show, and you can help with that. I liked you as interviewing me as well as me interviewing you. And,
I have a lot of ideas for content for Serbia. Like I have such a huge list. Because I'm into content, so I'm studying. I'm writing my bachelor thesis about YouTube. So
you said you were gonna make a second channel for Serbia,
or now I'm considering, but still, like I want to try more on my channel, and then I will see how algorithm works. Maybe.
Russian Vagabond.
Yeah, for now, maybe I will change.
Link in the description.
Video,
maybe she'll start a second channel for Serbia. Maybe she'll produce some content for Belgrade Beat. I don't know.
I thought to start a channel like with the name Why Serbia, so it's for people from abroad. So we like Why Serbia, who will come up, like, and all the reasons I can give there why Serbia.
Usually what it is, though, is someone like me who maybe had some Serbian background. That's not me, or maybe made some Serbian friends in another place like Toronto, Vienna, Chicago, whatever, Melbourne, whatever it is. And then they're like, yeah, I might stop by Belgrade. And then they stop by Belgrade and they're like, wow. And when they leave, they miss it. I was literally like...
I missed it so much, like...
Exactly. I was literally like, it was Christmas 2007 and I was at home in my apartment in Toronto after having Christmas Eve with my family. Me and a Serbian friend went to a party, a Serbian trubachi party.
Trubachi, this guy.
Trumpets, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And it was on Christmas Eve in Toronto. It was called Nije naš Božić, which means not our Christmas. And it was such a gastarbeiter party, so tacky, with such a boring type of Serbian, Canadian people. And I went home, and I think I was almost crying at how little I enjoyed the trubachi party compared to my previous trip that summer to Belgrade. And it was the next morning, on Christmas morning, I decided, and my present towards myself that Christmas was I decided that I was leaving Toronto and moving to Belgrade. And that was one of the defining moments in my life. And since 2008, I was living 3 years between here, but Belgrade was my home even that. And I was just saying goodbye to Toronto over 3 years, and yeah. So welcome, glad to see you here.
Me too.
And yeah.
See you guys in the Russian Vagabond.
Yep.
And,
subscribe to her channel. She needs some more subscribers.
Belgrade Beat, of course.
Belgrade Beat. And Anna, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Very nice. Bye, guys. See you.
Belgrade Beat, the pulse of the city.